I believe I'm live. I'm live. How is everyone doing? Wait a sec for people to tune in. Wow. What an episode. I got the chat open. This is yeah. How's everyone doing? I am doing fantastic. That was a very interesting episode of Ahsoka. I'm just making sure all my settings are right. I haven't streamed in a while, so it has been a minute since I've streamed. Anyway, make sure all my settings look good. I think they do. All right. You got so far 2 old messages in the chat. Hey, Goldman, how are you doing? I'm doing well. That was a very interesting episode of Ahsoka. It's very, very interesting. I'm sorry that I won't be able to make the live stream. It's 4 a.m. for my country's time zone, so I hope that you enjoyed the episode and the live stream. Thank you. I think I did enjoy the episode. Yo, what's up? It's good to see you again, along with your streams. Cameron Moneypenny says, haven't streamed episode 3, stopped watching. Then you should probably hop off this video because we're going to be talking about the big reveal at the end of the 4th episode. I'm giving you one last warning, Cameron Moneypenny. I think it is time for you to hop off the chat. Ahsoka or Boba? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Ooh, we got a lot of people in the chat. That Ahsoka episode was next level. Loved it. That was a decent episode. What an awesome episode. Wait till the end. You'll get a surprise. Maybe it's recency bias, but that was my favorite episode of live-action Star Wars. Love you, Goldman. Love you too, Cameron Moneypenny. Thank you for tuning in. All right. Whew. So, by the way, guys, I will be sharing my screen, and we can go through some of the interesting images throughout the episode. And wow. Yeah, I'm not gonna put a spoiler tag up if you're not up. If you haven't watched the episode, you should be tuning into a stream titled Ahsoka Episode 4 Live Discussion and Q&A. Like, what's wrong with you? Anyway, if you guys don't mind, please hit the like button, destroy the like button for the YouTube algorithm, and we can begin talking about Ahsoka. So should we just go straight to the big reveal at the end? Should we just do it? All right. Well, last chance. I feel like I should put spoilers, but if you haven't watched the episode, you shouldn't be here. Are you guys ready? Bum-da-da-dum. Voila! There he was. He does not look good. I'm sorry. Like, it was cool seeing Hayden talk and say snips. It's been a while, but it does not look great. But there's a lot more to this episode than just seeing Anakin in the World Between Worlds. Let's go back. So I thought this episode did a really good job setting up the stakes. I felt a lot of tension. Seeing Thrawn in the trailers kind of ruined it for me because we know that they're gonna get there. But I still found the episode to be really tense. So here in the beginning of the episode, I'm not going to be showing actual clips of the episode because then I can get the stream taken down, but I'll show images and stills. I'll kind of go through the important things of the episode. So in the near beginning of the episode, after that action sequence, I want to get to the important part of the episode. So here it is. Okay. But man. Okay. So I'm trying to get a good image from the episode. Whatever. Not that it matters. Here. So in the beginning of the episode, after they fight some of the droids and whatnot, Ahsoka poses the question to Sabine. Hey, Sabine, can I rely on you? Because I know how much you care about Ezra, but we need to destroy this map. Your personal feelings cannot get in the way of stopping another galactic war. And it's going to be one of those debated discussions. You know, it's always, it always happens in these shows where people argue. It's like, oh, should this character made this personal decision but turned out to be really stupid. So are people going to start hating on Sabine? I don't know. Because at the end of the episode, she did choose not to destroy the map. So was Ahsoka right in that she shouldn't have trusted Sabine? Because Sabine, it's going to happen. Thrawn's going to return. A war is going to start. That's what Dave Filoni's movie is going to be about. And one could say it was Sabine's fault. She had the chance to stop it all, but didn't do it. So yeah, the most important part of the episode, besides seeing Anakin, that Sabine chose not to destroy the map. Before we get there were some pretty good lightsaber fights. How did you guys feel at all about Merrick dying so quickly? I didn't care. I thought that was hilarious. I'm glad. I didn't care for the character. I'm glad there was no mystery. I thought it was interesting how he kind of dissolved. I wonder if he was some sort of agent of what's this? No. Oh, no. I think I just accidentally inserted an ad. Don't want that. What do you guys thoughts about Merrick dying? Because I thought that was a very interesting decision. I thought Merrick's death was hilarious, especially considering all the stupid theories about him. It paid homage to Maul vs. Kenobi. Star Wars fans will never learn not to overhype this type of characters. Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. I think Sabine's going to turn to the dark side. How can she turn to the dark side if she's not even strong enough with the Force yet? Now we see why Sabine's helmet been red in recent intros. Interesting. I didn't notice that. Is he a Night Brother? I wonder if he was some sort of agent of like the Night Sister, Morgan Elsbeth. Night Sister magic upon his death, right? Yeah, Foster. That was my instant assumption. Let me see if I can. I don't want to show like the character's actual death. Yeah, so here is like a shot of him when he just disappeared, right? He just like evaporated into green dust. Just occurred to me that Merrick was probably being animated by some type of Night Sister magic. That's some really intense Night Sister magic that they can like control a person where they can wield the Force and be Force sensitive and fight with the lightsaber. I don't think Thrawn will return per se, but I think it might be about preventing him from returning to the main galaxy. I'm just distraught from Hayden. We'll get to Hayden in a second, guys. Let's talk about the rest of the episode because yes, I know how much we all love seeing Anakin. I have mixed thoughts. But anyway, let's move on. So, what do you guys think about the lightsaber fights? Sabine is an underrated duelist because she did have time with the darksaber, right? And I'm sure she's been training with the lightsaber since the ending of Rebels. So she held up on her own against Shin Hati. And then Ahsoka. We got some really interesting Ahsoka moments. So Ahsoka is fighting Baylan, right? And then she's like, I'm not here to discuss my past. And then Baylan says something along the way like, your story is going to end just like your master's in death. And something like that. And she gets angry. She's starting to like use the dark side. And then there was a sense of fear when she thought Sabine was gone. Because she saw Shin Hati return. Here we go. So it's like this moment in the episode where Ahsoka's on the edge of the cliff and she said Sabine destroyed the weapon and she didn't. Good fights. Dave really likes old samurai films. Yeah, they go over the top with that a little bit, I feel like. Where Dave is like, where a lot of times before the two characters duel, they just stand there and like twirl their lightsabers in different positions for like 10 seconds or for like 20 seconds. I thought it was really funny. After prequel fighting style, this one good though. I wish there weren't so many cuts/edits. I would have loved to see more of some choreography. I don't know if I had any problems with that. But another big piece of revelation. I know everyone cares about Hayden and Anakin, but Sabine's family's dead. That actually never occurred to me because one thing I found to be strange is that Sabine wasn't part of the plot to retake Mandalore in The Mandalorian Season 3. I thought that would have been an interesting way to reintroduce the character in The Mandalorian. But that didn't happen, so Sabine wasn't there. But yeah, with the events that happened on Mandalore, the trail of it, so maybe that's why Sabine doesn't really care. It's like her family's dead. And that makes her really upset. Okay, but when the saber cut the tree, Disney needs to stick with one way for lightsabers. What do you mean? Sabine's family being dead makes her giving the map a lot more weight because Ezra's literally the only family she has. Well, she has Hera too. It's like, unless she doesn't care about Hera as much as Sabine or as much as Ezra. But yeah, I thought that was a good decision. Because at first, when Balin was like, Ezra's the only family you have left, I'm like, Sabine's whole family's like still there. It's like, oh, now they're dead. So that was a huge shock. I thought that was a great decision narratively to just kill Sabine's family. One issue I do have, and again, this is going to be discussed as long as the series goes on. It's how much, how the importance of having watched the animated shows, because the moment where Sabine chooses to hand the map back to Balin, right? That's an emotional decision. You need to understand the relationship between Sabine and Ezra in order to fully understand that. If you haven't watched Rebels, sure, for 4 episodes now, we've heard about how Ezra's gone and Ezra's with Thrawn, right? But you can't just tell people to care about a relationship. You have to see it. So those of us who might have watched Rebels, we do care about that relationship, right? But those who haven't, don't. And I think that moment might fall flat for them. So it's the balance. How important is it that you watched Rebels? And is it really that bad if you don't? Sabine took a lightsaber to the stomach and lived, but now they can cut clean through trees. Well, I mean, she got stabbed through the stomach. It's not like she got, like, cut open. Standoffs are what makes the fights good and tense. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So let me pull up the part of the episode with the map again. So that's really the big topic of debate here is, do you buy that Sabine would give the map back to Balin? I was really happy that Balin decided not to, like, go back on his word and kill Sabine or toss her in the abyss. Because finally we have someone with, like, honor. You know, Balin may be someone who's on the dark side, but he has some sort of moral code, and he made a promise to Sabine, and he kept that promise. And that just makes me like the character all that much more. That he's not some mustache-twirling villain where he's like, oh, I'm going to go back on my word, I manipulated you, haha. I thought it was much more interesting that he actually stuck to his word, and we're going to see Sabine probably meet Ezra again. And Thrawn. Did Sabine ever meet Thrawn in Rebels? Do you guys know? I just rewatched Rebels, and I don't remember off the top of my head. Do they have any scenes together? Sabine and Thrawn? I don't think so. Balin seems like he would keep his word fully. Stoic and mature. I really like that. Balin is like Thrawn about the honor thing. Yeah. I don't know if Thrawn has honor. He's just really smart. She never met Thrawn. Yeah, so I mean, she obviously knows Thrawn, but she never really met him. I'm going to go back to the camera. Yes, she did. No? So you guys don't remember. See, I don't remember either. I'm glad I'm not the only one. He stole her work, so the two are obviously familiar with each other, but I don't know if they had any face-to-face interactions in Rebels. They know each other, so she knows. Of course, Thrawn knows her, but yeah. So yeah, I think I buy the decision. I wish I proposed this. I thought this would have been a really interesting way to begin the series, where we take the last scene of Rebels, not the last scene, the scene where Ezra and Thrawn's last scene in Rebels, where they're on the Star Destroyer and before the Purrgil go. Just, like, adapt that to live action for 2, 3, or 5 minutes. And so we see Ezra's actions, we see him freeing Lothal, and we see Sabine, we see screen time with Sabine and Ezra in live action, I think with you always. We see why Thrawn is gone, we see why Ezra is gone, we see the importance of the Purrgil, and we see Sabine's emotional attachment to a series. You don't need much context on the battle, just know this guy named Ezra was with this guy named Thrawn, they disappeared, and then they won a battle because of that. But they didn't, and because of that, I think people are missing out a lot on the emotional connection between Sabine and Ahsoka. Why didn't they do that? I don't know. I thought that would have been much better than opening with a crawl. Because again, this is what I try to tell people. You can't just tell people to care about a relationship. You can't have Sabine walking around in every episode talk about how much she misses Ezra, right? Because unless we actually see that relationship or some form, it could be a flashback or anything, the audience isn't going to care as much. We care because we're dorks who watch everything Star Wars. So of course we're going to care. But I think that would have been a fantastic way to begin the series. But anyway, so we go back. This is really I buy that Sabine would do this. I'm interested to see the fallout of what's going to happen, because Sabine broke Ahsoka's trust, right? The whole thing in the first 2 episodes was Sabine felt that Ahsoka didn't want her there, and Ahsoka was willing to take a second chance on Sabine and all that. But when the time came, Sabine did not show up for Ahsoka. And I wonder how that's going to affect Sabine going forward. Is she going to regret that? I'm really curious to see in what capacity are we going to see Ezra. Like, he just can't be the same guy he was 10 years ago. Jacob C says, love your video essays. Thank you so much. Ezra's not going to be the same guy he was 10 years ago. He's going to be a little more mature. I don't think he's going to be on the dark side or anything, but I think it's going to be a lot more complicated than them having a simple reunion. Yeah, they didn't listen to, that's a great point from King. You two should stick together. That's when you're the strongest. And they separated, and look what happened. So that's a really good point. So then we can go to not the end of the episode, but a little bit closer here. What do you guys think about the, hold on. Here we go. All right. I don't know what to call it, like the giant hyperspace ring. They hyperspace rammed. They tried to hyperspace ram the little rebel squadron there. Last Jedi reference? I don't know. Imagine if Ezra turned to Thrawn's side but isn't on the dark side. I struggle to see why Ezra would do that. That's why they failed. Yeah. Love the whole episode. My only nitpick is that Hera brought her kid along. Oh, yeah. I get that. But if she's going into battle, maybe she wants little Jason to get experience. But I want to bring my kid to a serious situation like that. God, no. That's a good point, Shadow Trooper. In the trailer, Thrawn is on the ring ship. Yeah, so we know they're going to see Thrawn again. I mean, we saw Thrawn in the trailers. Yeah, I was rooting for the villains in the episode. Why? Just so we could see Thrawn again? Okay, now we can get back to the most important part of the episode to many. Ahsoka being at the world between worlds. Are we going to ignore how she got here? Like, she fell into the lake or the ocean and just ended up here. Is she dead? Is this where Jedi go when they die? God, Jason doesn't look like either of his parents. He kind of looks like Kanan. It's Star Wars. Child soldiers are used all the time. Yeah. I loved how they portrayed the world between worlds. Oh, the world between worlds looked beautiful. I like how here they give it more of a bluish white than the white that was in in Rebels. She can't be dead. It's like the show is named after her. What is she gonna do for 4 more episodes? You know what I wonder? I wonder if the next episode is going to be just an entire Ahsoka Anakin episode. Like the two of them, we're not gonna see what Sabine and Baylan and Thrawn or whatever are up to. I wonder if it's just gonna show Ahsoka and Anakin. Yes, she died. She will come back as Ahsoka the White. I don't know how she got there. It made no sense. There's no way she died. It's like she can't just die. I mean, she was just randomly. If you remember when she fought Vader in Rebels, she was, from her perspective, just taken out of the blue. You know, she was fighting Thrawn 1 minute and then just disappeared into the world between worlds. So maybe something like that happened, except Anakin can't pull her out. So I don't know. And it's a good point. X says, honestly, I would love for the next one to be 90% Ahsoka. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind if we kind of paused on the plot for an entire episode and just focused on Ahsoka, because we haven't really... The show is called Ahsoka, obviously. But we haven't gotten much development with her. The show's... I feel like Sabine's really been the main focus, not Ahsoka. So I wonder if we're just going to get all these, not flashbacks, but conversations where Ahsoka talks to Anakin, talks about his fall and all that. It's going to be a technical death, but not in a practical one, if that makes sense. I don't know what that means. Well, if she's in the world between worlds, she can go anywhere at any time. It might be how she gets to Thrawn or something. I would hate that. I would honestly hate that. What I just realized is that Anakin wasn't on the Force Ghost mode. I thought the stream would start now. Yeah, sorry, Carlo. I realized that there was like 20 minutes to go to 8, and I just couldn't wait. Did I watch the 2D Clone Wars? No, I did not. Let's talk about Ahsoka. So I wonder, what do you think they're going to talk about? Because they can't just... He's not just going to talk to... It's not going to be Clone Wars member berries the whole time. Oh, super chat from Rory Kelsey. I was rooting for the villains on this one. They were already better than Thrawn for me. Writing-wise, Balin is way more intriguing than Thrawn. Both are really intriguing. See, that's what... It's not hard to make a villain intriguing. Because someone being morally corrupt or being on the dark side is just naturally intriguing to a viewer. That's why people are usually fascinated with those on the dark side. But he has honor, right? And I wonder what's going to happen with him. Because unfortunately, the actor passed away, and I wonder if he's going to die by the end of the series. So sad Ray Stevenson passed away. Yeah, that was really unfortunate. Please don't have Anakin doing time travel shenanigans. See, what I don't mind, I heard these theories, right? No, I don't know. I don't have any leaks or whatever. These are just theories. That a big part of Ahsoka's guilt was that she left Anakin. And she feels responsible. At least that was something that was key to Rebels. They haven't really expressed that in the show, but a key part of her character was that she felt guilty for leaving Anakin. That's why at the end of the fight, when she fought Vader, she's like, I won't leave you, not this time. So I wonder if she's going to somehow, and we've heard rumors that like we're going to see her fighting Anakin, where she sees like alternate, not timelines, just like alternate paths that could have happened. And she realizes like it's not her fault, and she wasn't destined, or she can't be blamed for Anakin's decisions. I love Balin's character, rest in peace. Yeah. Have you spoke about how Balin seems to know something about Ahsoka, talking about how she doesn't keep her promises and being destructive? That's interesting. I wonder, let me put some thought into that. Balin does know quite a lot about everyone. I'm going to go back to, I'm just going to put a picture of Balin. It makes the stream look better. Give me a sec, people. There we go. I don't want to play actual clips because then I could get copyrighted, but if I just show images, I think I'll be okay. So yeah, Balin knows a lot. He knew a lot about Ahsoka. He knew that Anakin became Darth Vader. I wonder if that's common knowledge at this point. In the books, it's not, but we know they don't care about the books. The fight, Rhyme, Vader, and Balin had the same energy with powerful strokes. True. Kind of weird that Force Ghosts have lightsabers and all. We haven't seen that. That was a perfect episode, and we still haven't seen Thrawn yet. Already incredible. Yeah. Yeah. So Balin knows a lot about Sabine, too. It's like he knows that Sabine, her parents died, or family's dead. Balin is Snoke, imagine. I wonder how he knows that. Like, what's the lore behind that? He clearly knows a lot. He's clearly an intelligent man. And he's good at manipulating. I mean, masterful job at manipulating Sabine. Can't do Ahsoka. Balin is honestly the best character of the show so far, but that isn't really hard to be. Balin is the best villain we've had in a while. We've had some pretty good villains. He read her mind? You think he can do that? Balin and Shin. I think he just used the Force to sense her mind. Can like everyone do that now? Is that like a common thing people can do? They can just read minds? I don't even know why I have the headphones on. I'm not listening to anything. So yeah, Balin knows a lot. And that's really interesting. He read her mind, didn't he? Yeah. I guess he watched Clone Wars too. Maybe he did. So let's go back. So now I'll put it up for everyone. I don't know if this is going to be a instant hot take. Here, give me a sec. There he is. He does not look good. I'm sorry. He doesn't look good. For real, when Sabine was like, you don't know what you're talking about, I was like, does he? Yeah, does he know? I don't. I guess we'll see. I hope this is not like, because you know when Ahsoka saw Ezra was in the future and Ahsoka was in the past. I hope this is not like somehow Anakin was actually in the world between worlds and he's talking to an older version of Ahsoka. I would hate that. I hope this is a ghost. Looks terrible. Yeah. Ahsoka really needs some development. I think this next episode is going to be mostly about Ahsoka and Anakin. They can't just tease Anakin and barely show him. Thrawn, Maul, Balin are the best villains Star Wars has had in a while. It's the end of Clone Wars design. It's not so much that. Like, I don't see the need to make him look young. Right? I feel like it would have been much better if they just showed an older Hayden Christensen. So, this is hilarious, right? Are you guys ready? In the flashback in the Obi-Wan show, when Anakin was a Padawan, they didn't do any de-aging, and he just looked like an old 40-year-old guy. But here, when he's supposed to be a ghost and it's okay for him to look old, they DH'd him. He looked terrible. Yeah. I think it looks great. I'm jealous, Gil Murphy, because that was like the first thing that stood out to me was it didn't look good. It's Anakin's spirit. It makes sense for him to look perfect. But it's not. The thing is, Hayden Christensen is not an old guy. He's like in his 40s. It doesn't matter if he looks a little bit older. It's not like he's in his 70s or 80s. Like, he's still a young, good-looking guy. So, we're nitpicking here. We're Star Wars fans. That's what we do. But I don't think he looked good at all. I think the age thing is going to have a lot to do with what they talk about. I'm fascinated by what they're going to talk about. I really hope we don't see much Anakin. I hope, so we have a tease of Anakin here. I hope in the next episode, it's all just Ahsoka and Anakin, and they talk about stuff, they talk about the past, and they really develop the relationship, because we haven't seen that on screen. We know the relationship between Ahsoka and Anakin, but acting is important. We don't know the relationship between Hayden and Rosario Dawson's characters. So that's going to be a really interesting thing to play out. It's Battlefront 2 Anakin. Yeah, he does actually look like Battlefront 2 Anakin, which is Revenge of the Sith Anakin, but I get that. Was there ever any story given as to how Huyang escaped Order 66? No. I mean, he's not a Jedi. They're not going to kill him. Maybe he just wandered off. You're a young, good-looking guy. Thank you. Yeah, but everyone criticized how he looked in Kenobi. True, Carlo, but the difference is in Kenobi, he was supposed to be 19 years old, and he looked like he was in his 40s, which he was. Here, if he just looked like Hayden Christensen today, I don't think anyone would care. Assuming that he's a Force Ghost. I mean, he could be a Force Ghost and look old. That's fine. So, I want to see Ahsoka's actual thoughts on Anakin's redemption. Yeah, that's a great point. Oh, W. Hansen. I'm going to go on a mini rant now. When Ahsoka showed up in the Book of Boba Fett and talked to Luke, that really made me mad. Because I wanted to see on screen the moment that Ahsoka found out that Anakin did redeem himself and he turned back to the light side. Ahsoka, I assume she knows. It's never specifically said, but if she talks to Luke, I'm sure Luke told her that Vader did turn back to the light side. I wanted to see that moment on screen. So, Ahsoka already knows. And I don't know if there's much to discuss there. I wonder if they're going to talk about Luke. Ahsoka knows Luke. And if there's Anakin, realistically, they would have to talk. They would have to mention Luke, right? If Ahsoka would be like, Luke is so much like you or something like that. That would make me a little going to make me tear up instantly. But I think there's a lot of potential for there to be really good storytelling with Anakin showing up. I hope it's not member berries. I really hope they devote a whole episode to this. I'm trying to think of a good example. It's like, for those of you who watched Avatar The Last Airbender, bear with me. If you have, you'll know what I'm talking about. You know how there was that one episode in season 3, I believe, where Aang just talks to Roku the whole time, and Roku tells Anakin about the past and how Sozin rose to power and all that? An episode like that with Ahsoka and Anakin, I think would be a perfect episode. I would love to see something like that. Congratulations, It's a Squid says, isn't the series taking place before the Book of Boba Fett? I assume it's afterwards. There's no indication for me to believe it takes place before. Did you hear about the special coming out this Friday called Master and Apprentice? I did, Razkov. I don't know what that means. Is it just going to be highlighting the relationship in the Clone Wars? That'd be interesting. Wow, we have 109 viewers. Shit. I didn't realize people are actually watching. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you don't mind, all I ask is that you please destroy the like button for the YouTube algorithm. That's all I ask. Thank you. And subscribe if you haven't. I thought it took place during Season 3 of Mando. Yet again, all the series are so close in timeline. Listen, my philosophy with this is that unless specified, I assume all the Mandoverse shows take place after each other. AspieTube says, what special? Supposedly Disney Plus is releasing some special on Ahsoka and Anakin. Not an episode of the Ahsoka show, but probably not a documentary, more like a retrospective where they talk about the relationship and how important it is. Which I get. They want people to buy the relationship. Like button destroyed, thank you. Do you think Anakin will guide Ahsoka through the world between worlds? I think he's going to show her something. They're not going to bring Ahsoka to the world between worlds for no reason at all. I don't think she's going to go. We haven't seen anyone full on step through time. Because Ezra went to the world between worlds, took Ahsoka out of her time, and then dropped her off back, and then he went back to his time. So we haven't seen anyone literally like go back in time, if that makes sense. And I hope we don't, because I don't want time travel. And what they did in Rebels was enough for me. This is right after season 2, probably. Maybe, but I don't know. I just until I have reason to believe otherwise. I'm assuming this is after the Book of Boba Fett and the Mandalorian season 3. They haven't given any indication that it takes place beforehand, and since this show takes place after, or since the show has come out after those shows, I'm assuming it takes place after. I wasn't expecting this World Between Worlds thing. I don't get what's the deal with it. We'll see. Somehow Ahsoka ended up here. She fell off a cliff and ended up in the World Between Worlds. Yeah, if it's that easy for her to get there. I mean, Filoni knows what he's doing. You might not like his answer that he's going to give, but he's going to have an answer. I'm so grateful that they aren't fighting the Empire in the show yet. My brain gets so confused about the timeline when we're still fighting Stormtroopers 9 years after Return of the Jedi. I think it's 5 years, but we're all being nitpicky. However, this takes place at the same time as Mando Season 3. I don't know. It may or may not. I don't know. You know, it's funny. So I watched this episode I watched this episode when it first came out. And now my friends are watching it, and they're texting me, "Holy shit, we saw Anakin!" And I'm just like, I'm streaming right now. So yeah. What do you guys think? I really want predictions because I have no clue what they're gonna do. All we know that's gonna happen going forward is that they're gonna run into Thrawn. Like they're gonna find Thrawn. I bet you the series ends on a cliffhanger type thing where Thrawn's fleet returns and that's it. Actually, interesting point. What do you guys think about this? Let me pull back my cam. In The Mandalorian Season 3, we saw a bunch of Imperial officers talk about Thrawn. So they're orchestrating something, right? But in this show, we haven't seen the Empire. We've only seen Morgan Elsbeth and her bang of characters. So I wonder what the Empire is up to and how Baylan, Shin, Morgan Elsbeth, and others, how they're in cahoots with the Empire. I don't know. You're right, it takes place in 9 ABY, but I forgot Return of the Jedi. It takes place in 4 ABY. I know my timeline. Or he's going to do his own thing. These 4 episodes definitely take place after Season 2 of Mando, since, yes, we know that this takes place after Season 2 of Mandalorian. We don't know if it takes place after the Book of Boba Fett. We don't know if it takes place after the Mandalorian Season 3. So yeah, lots of interesting things that could happen. Yeah, God. I'm really fascinated to see what Anakin and Ahsoka are going to talk about. I hope we don't get too much like weird shit where she goes in alternate timelines or whatnot. That'll be crazy. I want some reflection. I want this to be a moment where Ahsoka changes. And how is she going to react when she finds out Sabine didn't destroy the map? It's definitely not after Season 3 yet, too large of a time jump. It could be. I don't see why it couldn't be. The Empire doesn't want anything to do with Thrawn, but I think he will return and take over the remnants? Thrawn probably isn't in the sequels and he's in another galaxy. I don't know. I'm still optimistic that this is somehow all going to tie into the First Order. Like, it just can't not happen. Jon Favreau told that Grogu had been training with Luke for 2 years in the Book of Boba Fett. I just don't buy that. I'm sorry. Like, he might say it, but I don't buy it. I'm thinking Anakin leads Ahsoka through the World Between Worlds if it's not just a Force manifestation. I think Thrawn does make it his return, but it's left on a cliffhanger. I want to see Ezra, though. We'll probably see Ezra. We can't not. We're going to see Ezra and we're going to see Thrawn. Like, is it just going to happen? How many episodes of Ahsoka will there be? 8. So we've halfway done. It's 4 episodes. And we got 4 more to go after this. So, yeah. I think Sabine's action should have severe consequences for her personally, but the show will water it down and forget it. That's a good point, Em. I really hope. Because if you guys watch my videos, I assume that you guys here have watched some of my videos. I'm a big fan of characters facing the consequences of their actions. Sabine made a decision. She knew the consequences, and she made that decision anyway. Now she's off in another galaxy, and we don't know how they're going to get there. Right? Baylan destroyed the map, the ball, and they're off. They're off to the other galaxy. What's Ahsoka going to do? I really hope she doesn't use the World Between Worlds to like teleport to Sabine. I would lose my mind. Maybe they prevent Thrawn from being in the sequels, though, through the World Between Worlds. I change things or to impact the plot. I want it to be a moment of reflection for Ahsoka and maybe Anakin. That's what the whole point about the World Between Worlds and Rebels was. Sure, he like pulled Ahsoka out of time, but that was in the past. I don't think he changed those events. And I don't want to see Ahsoka doing that too. I don't want her to change the future. I don't want her to be able to teleport elsewhere in the galaxy. Why does the makeup for older Anakin look better than the makeup for Attack of the Clones Anakin in the Kenobi series? It's not makeup. He was CGI, dude. This is a deepfake. This is a deepfake that I don't think looks good. Yeah, I think she's going to use the World Between Worlds to get there. I would... SB2, I will lose my mind if they do that. In order to believe that time gap, we need to actually feel the time gap. Grogu and Mando's reunion in Boba Fett practically felt like a day after the Mando Season 2 finale. Great point, W. Hansen. Great point. Do you think Sabine has a plan? No. Like, what does she think is going to happen when they find Ezra? I do not think she has a plan. When she gave the map back to Balin, that was an emotional decision, not a logical one. So, yeah, there's no way... it's a deepfake? Yeah. There's no way Sabine has a plan. I'm sorry. Yeah, the deepfake is weirder than the first deepfake for Luke and the Mando. So the first time we saw Luke in The Mandalorian, it did not look good. When we saw him in the Book of Boba Fett, that looked really good. That looked really good in the Book of Boba Fett. Here, we only got a glimpse. Do we actually see... I don't know if we actually see his lips move. Because that's... If you talk to animators, and there's like YouTube channels and whatnot, the hardest thing for animators to animate are lips. That's the hardest thing for characters to do. Oh, you're right. Anakin does have his lightsaber on him. That's so funny. Here we go. You notice, you guys can't see my mouse, but he has his lightsaber on him. Is that his? Is that Vader's lightsaber? Can I zoom in? Can you guys tell? Is that Vader's lightsaber? It doesn't look like the classic Skywalker lightsaber. Can I zoom this in? Where's my thing? Here we go. I'm gonna try this. Ready? That kind of looks like Vader's lightsaber more than the one, the Skywalker lightsaber that Luke and Rey had. That's Vader's lightsaber. That's interesting. Oh, imagine we see Anakin ignite a red lightsaber or something. That'd be really interesting. What if this is not a Force ghost and it's you know how whenever characters enter a Force cave, we saw this so many times in Rebels, and we saw this with Luke in Empire. When they enter the Force cave, they have these visions of something they fear. Like Luke fought Vader in the tree, then cut off his head, and then his face was underneath the mask. That doesn't look like Qui-Gon's lightsaber. It could be. I wonder if this is not actually a ghost Anakin, and Ahsoka's having a vision, and we see a dark side Anakin, where a fear that Ahsoka has plays out, and then she wakes up and it was a dream. I would actually like that. And then we actually maybe see Anakin later on. Maybe that's why it's a younger version of Anakin. It's not a ghost. The music gets dark once it cuts away. Yeah, you're right. Also, I'm thinking if Anakin has his lightsaber, it has to be some kind of Force manifestation, maybe meant to lead Ahsoka down the wrong path. I would love that. Oh, guys, we're getting some really interesting ideas here. What if this is not a Force ghost of Anakin, and instead, I'm going to zoom out, by the way, if I can. Yeah. What if this is not a Force ghost of Anakin, and instead it's some sort of dream, or not? We saw plenty of them in Rebels. And we're going to see Anakin ignite the red lightsaber, and Anakin fights Ahsoka in the World Between Worlds, and then, she loses and wakes up. Something like that. That could be the best possible thing, and then seeing Anakin as a Force ghost when she's going back to the ship. Darker music and Vader's breathing. Yeah. Dude, and that's... Oh, I want to, I feel really... I don't want to say, I found that, because I'm sure other people noticed, but that's not the Skywalker lightsaber. You're right. Boop da Snake. What if it is the brother? Yeah, he doesn't have the aura. Also, I don't think Ahsoka's Force Ghost would pick Anakin's Force Ghost would pick his Clone Wars outfit. I think he would. Hayden Christensen, listen, I'm a straight dude, but Hayden Christensen was a good-looking guy back then. If I was him, I would pick that outfit. What other outfit would you pick? Him in white robes? It's the only outfit we've seen Anakin wear in live action. Or a projection of the darkness in Ahsoka. I would love that. What if Ahsoka... We haven't really seen Ahsoka have a dark side to her. A little bit of anger in the Clone Wars, but nothing real like we saw with Luke or Rey, if you care about that. Ooh, that's interesting. That's some really interesting stuff. What do you guys think? Maybe, but I think it's just about Vader still being a part of Anakin even after he comes back. But I don't know if I like that. The whole thing... I don't know, because we haven't seen Anakin talk after Return of the Jedi. he tells Rey, like, bring back the balanced Rey as I had. And that's it. So we've never really heard Anakin give his thoughts on anything. She was a tad bit angry when Kenobi faked his death. Me too. There were rumors Ahsoka was going to go to the World Between Worlds or have some dream where she interferes with the fight on Mustafar. It was just a rumor, but we could see it here now that she's there. True. I wouldn't mind if it was a dream or like some sort of premonition. Your past is always part of you. Yeah. I think it's all canon that all celestial beings are dead except for the season 6 ones in the Clone Wars. Has Ahsoka's bird appeared in the show at all? Ooh, Morai, the bird. I don't think so. It'd be cool if it turned into a full-on duel between the brother and Anakin and the sister in Ahsoka. I don't know if they're going to go that deep into the lore. I would like your therapy. If it being a dream, it would be the best approach. I wonder where Rex is. I don't know where Rex is. I think that's the really interesting... I think that's the path I would prefer. That this is all like a dream and Ahsoka just wakes up washed on the shores. Dude, I love that Tatooine is back. Feels bad. That Lunga yells for no reason. LOL, you're very patient. That's Lunga, dude. That's Lunga. Ooh, we don't need to stare at Anakin forever. You'd rather look at me, right? Yeah. I don't know. Kind of covered the whole episode. We talked about Sabine and her decision, how she betrayed Ahsoka, essentially, how that's going to affect everyone going forward, and how Anakin's going to play into the story. Part of me wishes it's the actual Anakin, because I really want to see how he acts post-Vader. Yeah, me too. I love it when Lunga loses it on stream. Wasn't the World Between Worlds destroyed in Rebels? That was more so like a gateway to there that was destroyed. I don't think you can destroy the World Between Worlds. I mean, in the name, it's a World Between Worlds. You can only get there through some sort of magic. Came here late. Did y'all discuss Merrick? Yeah, he was nobody. I was glad. I was so glad to see him die. I was just like... It's like, I saw a funny meme, you know, when Ryan Johnson had that, your Snoke theories suck. It was like, your Merrick theories suck. I'm glad it panned out to nothing. The ending made me forget. I was a little disappointed we saw no Zeb with the Phoenix Squadron. Actually, Ralph, I heard an interesting theory that the reason Zeb was shown in The Mandalorian Season 3 was to kind of tease where he was during the events of this series. Like, he's not with Sabine and Ahsoka because he is wherever that base was. But if you think about it, Carson Teva was with Zeb, and then Carson Teva is now with Hera. Zeb would be there. Yeah, it's actually a little disappointing. Zeb would be there. I know he's probably expensive to animate and they don't want to do it. But yeah, there's no way Zeb wouldn't be there. The real star of this episode is that hyperspace ring. Every shot of it was insane. Listen, when these shows show like ships in space, it looks fantastic. I haven't noticed any bad cinematography or effects besides Anakin's face. But besides that, everything else looks fantastic. It's 4 a.m. here in Germany. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate that. Where was Trapper Wolf? Yeah, Danny Gallagher. I was thinking that same thing. Where was Trapper Wolf? I wanted to know where he was. Love the transition between the waves and the World Between Worlds. Oh, yeah, that was El Banano. That was a great whatever. We can see. You guys can get a little shot of Ahsoka sleeping. It's Ryan Bramble says it's 9 p.m. here in Iowa. I really appreciate you tuning in, Ryan Bramble. Thank you. Do you think there will be more returning characters from Rebels? Who else is there to return? Like Rex? There's not really anyone left. Ketsu? I didn't know. How hot was the Ghost? Oh, dude, when the Ghost was getting ready to leave with the 5 X-Wings around it. Oh, that was so cool. I loved it. I think you can see the volume a little too much. Whenever these shows have a clear, small, enclosed area, you can kind of, they're using the volume, but I don't think it looked bad at all. I think this show has been shot wonderfully. The effects have been really good besides Anakin's face. Love that late night time slot. Yeah, thank God. For us Americans, having this episode come out at 9 Eastern is a blessing. No more waking up at 3 in the morning. That was a nightmare. I wonder if we'll see her owl friend. Probably. Oh, Ralph, you're right. AP5 is the best character in Rebels. We need to see him return. Callus. Oh yeah, Callus. How could I forget Callus, dude? You guys are embarrassing me. I completely forgot. What do you think about the Vader theme at the end? Can't recall if you discussed that. I did not actually hear it, so I want to play this. I'm going to play this again. Obviously, you guys will not be able to hear it or see it because of copyright reasons, but bear with me. I want to play that for myself for a bit because I didn't really notice the theme. So it's like a light tone when we first see Anakin. Ahsoka's like, Anakin. He smiles. Ahsoka has like this weird look on her face, and then she smiles. Yeah, it's interesting. So whenever there's actual images on screen, it's like this light music, it's like, oh, reunion, And then it cuts to black and goes, dawn, dawn, dawn. So yeah, I hope that ties into my theory that I expressed a few minutes ago, that this isn't really Anakin. It's some sort of dark side Anakin we're going to see. And it's like some sort of dangerous premonition that Ahsoka had. That like her past is with her still. They're going to have to tie that in. I mean, I hope... Oh, there's so many opportunities. If we're going to rank... You know what I should do? We should do stuff that's on the board. Do I have Post-its on me? Oh, do I have Post-its on me? Give me a sec. Post-its. God damn it. I don't have tape either, do I? Damn it. We're going to write little notes here. Stuff that's on the board to happen in next week's episode. Do I have a whiteboard? I do have a whiteboard. Ooh. Give me a sec, people. I need my erase markers. Are you guys ready? We're going to do a new little segment. I hope people didn't tune off while I was gone. I have stuff written all over this whiteboard. I should have cleaned this last time. But what I'm going to do is we're going to start a new segment. I might need to... I'll have to do this later. I can't clean this right now. We'll use this little notepad here. On the board. So what is on the board, Lick's Hand? On the board for next week. I'm going to say not really Anakin. Dark premonition / I don't know what else to, like, I don't know what word to use. On the board, my handwriting's not great. Not really Anakin, dark side premonition / vision. So that's on the board one. What else is on the board for things that could happen? On the board, it's real Anakin. Real Anakin. Ahsoka. I spelled Ahsoka wrong. Travels through... real Anakin, Ahsoka... travels through world between worlds. I couldn't even read my own handwriting. Hey, Goldman, need to head out. Got a test tomorrow. Get some sleep. Your academics are important. What else would you guys say is on the board? Thrawn showing up. Sabine dying is not on the board. We're talking about the end of next episode. We should have two on the board for episode 5 and on the board for the series. We know it is most likely going to happen. Series. Thrawn. Well, we already know Thrawn appears. We saw him in the damn trailer. And Ezra appear. Episode 4, of course, the spoilers. So, series, Thrawn and Ezra appear. Jar Jar is revealed as the Sith Lord in the New Galaxy. That is not on the board. I'm really annoyed I can't erase this. I need like a towel. Should I use like a shirt? Erase it. I'm going to do this in the meantime. A reference to the brother and sister. I think that's low, but I'm going to put that on the board. That's a good one, Earth. I can't remember your full name. Brother / sister reference. So that is also on the board for next week's episode. I think it's on the board that we do not see any of Sabine, Balin, Shin, Morgan. I think next episode could all be just Ahsoka and Anakin and like any flashbacks that they have. Maybe Thrawn next episode and Ezra only in the last one. Realistically, I wouldn't really like it if they showed Thrawn right away in this next episode, because the whole point is that they're in a galaxy so far away that they shouldn't just instantly be able to get to where Thrawn is. Like, it should take a while. I'm not making much progress here. My hands are black now. See movie scenes in World Between Worlds. I think that's on the board. That's going to be on the board. I'll write that down. Especially in Revenge of the Sith stuff. Movie scenes shown in World Between Worlds. So on the board, fourth one, movie scenes shown in World Between Worlds. I butchered that spelling. Dave's right next episode. I bet we... Oh, Dave's directing the next episode. This is going to be an important episode, guys. This is like a can't miss episode. I hope the time of the episode leaks so I can like time this stream properly, because I timed this one to begin at 10 Eastern, and the Loth Wolves appear. I don't think the Loth Wolves will appear, but it could happen. That would be very low on my on the board chart. God, I may have to do this later. Like, this is a nightmare cleaning off this stupid ass whiteboard. I made progress though. Very low. I'll put Loth Wolves. I think they're very low on the board. Loth Wolves. Very low on the board. Do you think they show animated stuff in World Between Worlds, considering Ahsoka's most iconic moments? I think, Ryan, I don't think they're going to show any animated stuff, but I wouldn't be surprised if they show scenes from the animation that are redone in live action. Like Ahsoka leaving the Jedi Order, like just her walking away from the temple at the end of season 5. I wouldn't be shocked if they were to show that scene. And that, like, they kind of highlighted some of that stuff. I'm gonna put that on the board. See the Clone Wars season 5 ending. Tuned in the past few minutes. We are writing stuff down that it's on the board to show up next episode. What do we think could happen next episode? I've wrote, it's not really Anakin. It's a dark side premonition or vision, or some sort of like fake, not Anakin, a dream. It could be the real Anakin, and Ahsoka travels through the World Between Worlds. That one would make me very upset, but it's definitely on the board. I think it's very likely. I think it's possible we get a brother and sister reference, some kind, like whether the Anakin's really the brother or some reference to that. I think that's on the board. That we get some movie scenes shown in the World Between Worlds, or some sort of alternate version of that. Well, that's a good one. Flashback to Ahsoka and Vader on Malachor. Ahsoka versus Vader Malachor. That is on the board. Ahsoka versus Vader on Malachor. Hera gets the other Spectres together. That's like low tier. I think it's going to happen eventually, but probably not in this next episode. Walter, Adrian, Moyano. You got a lot of different ideas. Ahsoka versus Maul and Mandalore. I don't think so. I think it's on the board. They show animated stuff, but I think besides Ahsoka leaving Anakin, I don't think we're gonna see anything else. I think that's really the only animated scene from the Clone Wars that has a good chance of popping up as like a live action stuff. I don't think they're gonna like Ahsoka fighting Maul. That's not really important to her and Anakin's story, or their relationship, and then maybe something in Rebels. Live action Clone Wars and Rebel scenes. I think it's like a 20 to 30% chance that happens. I don't think it's likely. I think if it were to happen, I think it's more likely we see Ahsoka leave the temple than we do see Anakin or Vader and Ahsoka fight on Mandalore. I think some of that expo marker paint or whatever is getting into my throat. Could Ahsoka learn of Jedi of old, as in ones who practice the light and dark side like the Bendu? But the thing is, that's not what the Jedi of old were like. They were less corrupt and idiotic than the ones in the prequels, but the Jedi never embraced the dark side. Maybe we'll see never before scenes of them together. Very likely. Ooh, that's a good one. New scenes of young Annie slash Ahsoka. It's on the board. By the way, after I finish this stream, I'm going to go and write these out on my my whiteboard. That's going to be the official on the board because it's a board. Ahsoka and Anakin have a heart-to-heart while flashbacks are all animated scenes. No. I think they could have a heart-to-heart if it's really Anakin. But it's like, what do they need to have a heart-to-heart about? Like, I guess discuss why he fell. Oh, here's a really interesting idea. Does anyone, besides Palpatine and Vader, does anyone know why Anakin turned to the dark side? Like, does Ahsoka know that Anakin tried to save Padme and failed? Like, is that, like, people know that Anakin and Padme fell in love and she died, but do people know that's the reason Anakin turned to the dark side? Does Obi-Wan even know that? Does Obi-Wan know why Anakin turned to the dark side? Does Luke? Like, Ahsoka says something like, I know what, she says something in The Mandalorian Season 2 where she's like, I've seen what attachment does to people. But it's like, how would she know that? I could see them using just the audio of some of the animated scenes. Yeah, I could see them doing that. Considering it's a pivotal moment in the saga, maybe Anakin turning to the dark side in Revenge of the Sith, Ahsoka has to not intervene like Ezra. Ooh. That would be really good. I actually like that, Ralph. Ooh. Ahsoka watches Anakin turn. Can't trust Obi-Wan to have given Luke the full story. Yeah, no way. I like that one, actually. From Ralph. On the board, Ahsoka watches Anakin turn, doesn't intervene. Doesn't intervene. I got a lot of stuff that's on the board. Ahsoka could see the fight on Mustafar. Maybe it's this force manifestation is meant to torment Ahsoka due to her decision to leave, like what happened in the Lothal Temple. But the thing is, I think Ahsoka blames herself, but her leaving was not the reason Anakin fell. Like, she made a personal decision. I don't buy that had Ahsoka stayed, that Anakin would have not turned. The same events would have played out, probably. If Obi-Wan couldn't turn Anakin back, I don't see how Ahsoka could. Like, those are his two closest friends. I wouldn't say Ahsoka was closer to Anakin than Obi-Wan was. So if Obi-Wan couldn't change Anakin's mind about Padme, I don't see how Ahsoka could have. Pretty sure they'll continue the main plot in the next episode, as there are only 8 episodes, so I think there will be 2 parallel plots next week, I hope. I kind of don't want that to happen. I think they can cover a lot in 3 episodes. But maybe I'm wrong. Oh yeah, 100% Dave even said Ahsoka couldn't have kept Anakin from turning. Only Luke could do that. And that's what I like. Like, that's the whole point. That it was only Luke and I guess maybe Leia if they went down that path. But Ahsoka could not have stopped Anakin. Ahsoka was there on Malachor with Vader and he didn't turn. So, like, maybe you could say he was too far down the river, stopped Anakin. Did I disconnect? I think it said I was disconnecting for a bit. I think I'm okay, though. Anakin was happy at the beginning of episode 3, and Ahsoka was why. I mean, maybe. We know that wasn't George Lucas's intention when he made Revenge of the Sith, so I'm not going to use that. Ahsoka uses World Between Worlds to travel to another galaxy. I just would really hate that. Kenobi. Yeah, but I just don't buy that he would have cared about Ahsoka more than Obi-Wan. Maybe we'll see Anakin getting into one of those portals in a moment where he's going to turn. Or maybe imagine if that is real Anakin and Ahsoka doesn't tell him he's going to turn. So what, you think Anakin had a... No. So you're saying that, like, this is, like, pre-episode 3 Anakin, and he's talking to an older Ahsoka, and she, like, still doesn't tell him to turn on the dark side? No. Maybe that's why Vader knew he couldn't kill Ahsoka? I don't know. Same kind of, but I don't know how she's going to. There's a lot of different paths they can go down. Should I do, like, a separate stream? What are Anakin and Ahsoka going to talk about? I don't know. I do not know what's going to happen. I'll put this back on screen. people will see Anakin and they'll stay on they'll stay in the stream longer. It could be the Force guilting Ahsoka about leaving Anakin, but why would the Force do that? That's what I don't buy. It's like, why would the Force do that? The Force usually teaches you a valuable lesson. Good question. I want the lore. We should place bets. What are we looking at right now? As in, like, we see Anakin. What are we looking at right now? Is this a Force Ghost Anakin? Is this actually a young Anakin from the past who entered the world between worlds and we never knew about it? Or is this like the son from the Clone Wars disguising himself as Anakin? Or if this is just a complete dream sequence, Force dream, where he's going to use the dark side and Ahsoka's going to get scared. It's going to be related to him turning for sure, and maybe his redemption. That's why we got that episode, that conversation on this episode. Yeah, because if you think about it, right? I mean, if you think about it, if Ahsoka ever killed Anakin or killed Vader, then no one would have ever killed Palpatine. Vader was the one who killed Palpatine. Killed. So if Ahsoka takes Anakin out of that moment, then the Empire still reigns supreme. And this is a really interesting thought. If Anakin ever turned to the dark side, the Empire still rises. Like, Anakin was one Jedi. Does him turning to the dark side really change the events of the entire galaxy? He stops Mace Windu, sure, but Palpatine probably could have done that anyway. And he still executes Order 6, still has control of the Senate, and he still declares himself Emperor. So Anakin turning to the dark side is important to the Star Wars story, but it's not really that important to, like, the events in the Star Wars canon of how the Empire rose and all that. I think your dark side premonition theory makes the most sense. Then an actual Hayden Force ghost at the end of the show would make sense. Yeah, I think that's what I would prefer. Because I'm scared about the world between worlds. I don't want to see them change things or her travel. Like, I want this to be a moment of character development, because that's really what it was for Ezra in Rebels. Ezra didn't save Kanan. He used that moment so we could learn that sometimes you need to let go. And I wonder if Ahsoka's going to do that too. God, this thing's like getting in my throat. Do you guys like my shirt, by the way? Goldman merch. I should put the link. Maybe more Order 66 flashback scene to Anakin inside the temple. Do we need to see that, though? It's like, wait, it's obvious. Anakin, just like Ezra, took Ahsoka from that dimension, saving her from death. But Anakin's dead. It's like, in what point of time is he taking Ahsoka out of that moment? And if so, Ahsoka is sure as hell lucky that twice she was about to die and some magical force being took her out of the space-time continuum to save her. Imagine. Shanna, that's a good point where you say she definitely learns to let go. But in Rebels, that's what she taught Ezra. It's like she taught Ezra the lesson of learning to let go. So it's weird to see her go on this arc already. She pulls Ezra from the world between worlds? I don't see how that's going to happen. It's the daughter's plot armor, man? Maybe. That's like, talk about, there has never been stronger plot armor than what Ahsoka has. That she's literally ripped out of space-time because someone just, like, chose to do that. That's whack. That's whack. It's kind of funny, but it's also whack. Hey, it's a fun thought. Yeah, you're right, Sebastian. That's what we like to do here. We love to have fun thoughts because we are Star Wars fans. All right, PM Eastern, and then I'm going to wrap up this stream. I might do another stream sometime later, maybe on this weekend, and we can have some more ideas. Like, let's brainstorm what Anakin and Ahsoka are going to talk about. Maybe on Friday or Saturday. We'll see. Did you guys tune into that? If we just, like, spoke about what Anakin and Ahsoka are going to talk about, I think that could be a really interesting stream. And we can talk about what's on the board. It's Anakin's Force Ghost who gives her one final lesson. We think. A lot of different ideas, a lot of different theories, and I like a lot of them. Wow, 138 concurrent viewers. Thank you guys for tuning in. And destroy the like button. What day? I'll let you guys know. I'll do a community post. Oh, by the way, guys, I know I'm getting a little off topic. You want to know what my next video is? It's coming out a week from today, hopefully. It's going to be every Rebels episode ranked. The video is going to be about an hour and 20 minutes. Long-ass episode. Sorry, we're talking about Ahsoka here. Wait, does Anakin have his scar? Ooh, good point. I don't think so. Yeah, that's a good catch. I don't think he has the scar. Good catch, Boop the Snake. You know what you're talking about. Yeah, Anakin doesn't have a scar. Maybe at the end, she just wakes up and it's a dream. Who knows? I would prefer that. Kind of. I still think it's a manifestation of Anakin based on how Ahsoka remembers him before the Siege of Mandalore. And it's only downhill from here. But actual Anakin will show up. I like that a lot, Mickey. I really like that. Oh, jeez. This is the fun part of being a Star Wars fan. I miss this. Discussing theories. And not like stupid theories like who's Merrick. Like actual fun theories. Like what are Anakin... What's his role going to be? What he's going to talk about? How this is going to affect the plot going forward? We were missing that with We had it a little bit with Boba Fett, but it fell flat on its face. We didn't have that with Mando. Obi-Wan, not really. And Andor, I love, but it wasn't really like... had much fan engagement. So a lot of interesting stuff. A lot of interesting stuff we could talk about. Anakin doesn't have a scar. For those of you who just tuned in, we talked about this a little before. How it looks like that is not Anakin's lightsaber. It looks like Darth Vader's lightsaber. And that's why I'm leading to think it's not just, it's not really Anakin. Looking forward to the Rebels video. Thank you, Zach. The scar is there. It's just not as visible because of lighting. Was it? I couldn't see it, man. I really couldn't see it. I wonder if there will be any mention of Ahsoka meeting Luke. There kind of has to be. Like, that would be... I bet you it's... I feel like it's more likely that it's not going to happen. But Ahsoka should mention Luke, that she's met his son. And has she met Leia? I don't think so. Maybe, but not on screen at least. Watched an episode, I enjoyed it, and Shin and Sabine duel was quick. I thought it was done well. The duels were fantastic in this episode. I know we've been talking about Anakin for the past 30 minutes or whatever, but the duels in this episode were really good. I really liked this episode. Anakin died as Vader and Luke had his lightsaber. Why would he have his original lightsaber? The theory, Sebastian, is that this isn't really Anakin. It's like some sort of figment of Ahsoka's imagination. And it's like the Force playing tricks on her. There was a comment, I don't remember, like Mickey's comment here. It's a manifestation of Anakin. I'm going to pin this comment because I think it's a really good comment. I think it's a manifestation of Anakin. That's how I was trying to phrase it, but I'm bad with words, so I couldn't put it into words. Sabine and Ezra met Leia. Yes, but Ahsoka didn't. A lot of interesting things. Yeah, that was a good theory. A good theory. I did not care for the first 3 episodes, but this was pretty cool. I don't know why. Just something about the last episode, the third one, I really loved. I don't know, it just felt really Star Wars-y to me. I like the characters. Hey guys, I'm really enjoying the show. I don't think it's on Andor or Mandalorian season 1 or 2 levels yet. It could get there. But it's off to a good start. No way. Yeah, Vader theme. No way that means good things for the next episode when it comes to Anakin here. Yeah. Like, that's the episode playing the Imperial March has to mean something sinister. If this is the son rather than Anakin, then I'll explain. Around on Twitter, where in the first episode when Ahsoka was in the temple, like moving the ball and moving the objects to get the ball, like you could hear whispers of the son saying is he the chosen one. So I wonder if this is actually the son, and that was a tease for that. Oh, by the way, for the end of the season on the board, Sabine will use the Force in some capacity. Oh yeah, that's gonna happen. I'm gonna try and do a stream this weekend, guys. Probably before Monday, so we have some time to ponder what's on the board. What if they put that to throw us all off, and it's a 2-second talk? People get pissed. Like listen, I'm not a big prequel fan, and I don't want huge member berries, but I want something now. They teased Anakin; they're gonna have to do something with it, whether it's really him or not. The dark side, she will use the dark side. I would like that. I love the show as a whole, but episodes 1 and 2 have some awkward pauses between characters' dialogue, but everything else has been absolutely solid. I don't know if I have an episode ranking yet. I don't know if I would even say this one was my favorite. I'd have to rewatch it. I'm gonna rewatch it after this stream. I like telling the. Oh, lots of really good ideas. I don't know what's gonna happen. Seeing the sun would be so cool, but I really want to see how a post Return of the Jedi Vader Anakin would act. I think whether it's in this next episode, episode 5, or it's at some other point, I do really think we're gonna see Force Ghost Anakin. I guess the debate is if this is really him, or if it's some sort of manifestation of this, of how Ahsoka perceived Anakin, as that one comment suggested. I don't know. Do you guys think Ezra and Thrawn are working together? I do find it really interesting how. What do you guys think about this? They have a map to this galaxy. It's a whole ass galaxy. How? I don't think this is a map that leads directly to Thrawn. I think it's a map that leads to that galaxy. How are they going to find Thrawn? Who knows if Ezra's still there? Like, what if Ezra's on a different planet? Who's to say that Ezra and Thrawn have been sticking together for 10 years? I think it's actually been, well, like 15 years. Closer to 10, I think. They will have to ally in order to survive until their rescue? Maybe. This is a long shot, but what if the Jedi Council shows up as Force Ghost and grants her Knight, kind of like how Kanan got his Knight through the Force? I won't want that. I don't want to see the Jedi. She hated the Jedi Council. Why would she want to see them? No, I don't know why people thought that. They were theorizing that the Inquisitor was Ezra. Yeah, that was stupid. It's like, why would Ezra be back on the dark side? It's been 10 years or so. I think they need to survive together. I do like how when we saw Thrawn in the trailer, he's like wearing his regular Ezra Bridger. I can't do Thrawn's accent. Just Plo and Kenobi. Yeah. Anakin's going to knight her. But she's not a Jedi. Like, is that still a thing? It hasn't. Live action Ahsoka has never said if she was a Jedi or not. She's working with Hu Yang. But it's like, why would she? I just don't see that being an important thing for Ahsoka to be knighted. It was an important thing for Kanan because he was insecure about him not being a Jedi. I don't think that's important to Ahsoka. I mean, weren't there still a bunch of Imperials on Thrawn's Star Destroyer? They're probably all dead. None of them matter. None of them we didn't know any. It doesn't matter. Yeah, Mickey has it right. Ahsoka doesn't need the Jedi Council to validate her standing in the Force. Absolutely not. Hu Ying fighting was Cap? Do you mean crap? I thought it was good. No, she doesn't want a knighthood. Yeah, she rejected it. She doesn't need a knighthood. Lots of interesting things. They matter to me. Yeah. What's going to happen? I don't know. I'm not going to promise I'll do a stream until next Tuesday or before then. We're going to go on the Chatooine show tomorrow, by the way. So if you guys want to see me stream tomorrow again, I will be doing the Chatooine show. So I knew he was going to fight, but didn't know if it was going to be that decent. When are we going to see them time travel plot that was in the final episodes of Season 4 Rebels? By the way, Turd Nugget, it's spelled... Jason is spelled Jacen, the same way Jason Solo's name was spelled. Thrawn's ship should be totally wrecked. Yeah, the Chimera should not be a thing anymore. The Purgle destroyed that thing. I hope when we see Ezra, I don't think he'll be on the dark side, but I wonder if he's just like a completely different person. It's been so long. But Ezra means so much to me. I'm nervous about it. This could be object subversion. Maybe the real Anakin shows up as a Force ghost, and we have a "is it really you" moment between Anakin and the actual, or Ahsoka and the actual Anakin. He read my comment. I try and read as many comments as I can. There's a lot of you guys in the chat, so I can't read them all. We're already starting to see fans remaking Anakin with deepfake. It did not look good. I'm sorry. I don't think Ezra is gonna be on the dark side. I'm trying to pull up Anakin again. I don't see his scar. Oh wait, do I? Oh, his scar is there. His scar is there. I was wrong. His scar was there, people. I can see it. You can't see my mouse, but his scar is there. If you look at a better lighting, it's there. YouTube, I love your videos. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. I think it is time for me to wrap up this stream. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. We got over 100 viewers at some points. That's wild. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will be doing this next week and the week after and the week after until the finale and probably one after that. And then after that, I'll do more streaming, but not really related to Ahsoka. If you guys want to hear more of my thoughts on certain things. So yeah, again, really, thank you guys for tuning into this stream. It was really awesome talking to a lot of you. I love doing this. I love engaging with you guys. But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you everyone so much for watching another one of my videos. Don't forget to unite the Claude Squad, like my boy Claude, and I'll see you guys next time. Good night or good morning.